food shortages, grocery price increases, and how we should prepare for winter of 2023 and into 2024. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano. If you have to hit pause to get your coffee together, whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will be a lengthy discussion. Tonight we are drinking Dunkin' coffee. I needed something a little strong to go over some of these things. We have a few shortages to talk about. We have price increases that we need to talk about in the grocery stores. When people are coming out saying that inflation is cooling down, I beg to differ. Now we can, we all of a sudden we have a week when we see a bunch of good prices in the grocery stores, and apparently they want to come out on TV and say that things are coming down in price. That is not true. That is not true. Do not believe them. I do not believe that for a second. Over the last few years I have been doing this, we have seen significant trends in the grocery stores where we have seen something as simple as spices go up in price. One week we'll see things like sugar spike. I don't think sugar's coming down either. We've got a lot of comments the other day that sugar will come back down, that it's gone up because of shortages. I don't think it's coming down. Usually when we see things go up in increments, it rarely comes down. If we see things go up like a massive amount, knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but if we saw sugar go up like $3 or $4, then I would expect that to come down. Okay, kind of like how we saw the eggs last spring, last April, when we saw egg prices go unbelievably high. We knew those were going to come back down. We just didn't know when. Thankfully, they did. But I don't see that happening with some products. But what I will say is that the slow burn is the forever fire. Guys, I don't think things are coming down, and I don't want to, I don't want to set in panic mode or anything like that. We don't fear these things. We just work around them. We find ways to get more creative in the way we shop and the way we buy items. We have to. It's what we've been doing on this channel the whole time. Now, here in a couple minutes, I'm going to go over some of the new shortages, but I wanted to say this first. Make sure that you're stocking up for winter. With events going on, which continue to seem to get worse and worse, out in the Middle East and beyond that. And, some things I don't really like to talk too much about on the channel. But if you're watching TV, if you know what's going on with everything, you know that these can be some trying times. Okay, let's take a sip of our coffee here before we go any further. That is good coffee. I love Dunkin'. So one shortage that we have seen has been distilled white vinegar. Now, this is one that's been kind of disappearing all throughout canning season and beyond. Why is this? Well, a lot of people are becoming hip to canning their own products. I think that's what it is. We have a lot of people on the channel that can their own products where you need distilled white vinegar to can most things. Okay? So we've been seeing a lot of these things, and we've been seeing a lot of baking items, spices, sugars, all these different things go way up in price. Why is this? They are making it harder and harder for us to cook our own goods. Now, this is the first time I've really ever mentioned that on the channel here, but I do believe that is exactly what it is. Everybody is becoming more hip. That's the word of the day, hip. More hip to cooking their own products. And I can think of a multitude of different reasons. Number one being price. Now, if you do the math, it is still way cheaper to cook meals yourself than to have pre-made meals and stuff like that. But these days, I know like with certain meat prices, look at some of the meat. That is one of our shortages of today that we have been hearing, is shortages of meat products. Somebody had mentioned Sam's Club. Now, as to where our Sam's Club was not, it wasn't packed like it usually is. I don't feel like it's been packed with meats for a long time. It's been a couple years since we've really kind of seen it overflowing. That could also be because prices are through the roof. Sam's Club doesn't want to buy a bunch of extra if they know they're not going to be able to sell it. Same with Kroger, same with anywhere else. I was surprised to hear this one. I got a couple comments on meats at Publix. Now, traditionally, Publix has great quality meat, but at the same time, it's very expensive. And if people aren't buying it, Publix isn't going to fill it up. And this is another reason why I kind of compare Publix to Meijer, because some of the same things that are usually missing at Publix are missing at Meijer as well. Take hamburger. Okay, ground hamburger. There's been a shortage, I guess, not around here, but we're getting a lot of comments on hamburger. And I've kind of waited a little while to talk about this because I thought maybe with some of the other holiday prices going up like turkey or coming down like turkey, ham, usually we'll see meat products stay the same or go up a little bit. And then right after Thanksgiving, they'll start tanking the prices. I don't think that's going to happen this year because of the shortages, supply and demand. Also, lots to talk about tonight, guys. I'm going to kind of be all over the place here, so bear with me. We have some certain points that we're going to get across, but this is going to be a heavy coffee rant with Dano tonight. We have gotten several complaints from out in California, Texas, seems like a lot of the southern and western states, Arizona, from a couple of our longtime viewers who actually moved from California, of some beef shortages. And I gotta say, for Texas, and we've gotten comments from Texas before on some beef shortages. Now, we also got a couple comments on steak. Steak specifically, I know you didn't mention hamburger or anything, but hamburger seems to be one of the big topics right now. But steaks up in Michigan, and one of you were the one that mentioned Sam's Club. We had a couple viewers that were talking about it. And I think we're going to see, they had said, we've talked about this for the last few months from many different articles where they were talking about beef shortages coming up for the start of 2024. So if you find a sale, we saw at Meijer the other day too, where steak prices are going up again. We saw the strip steaks go up another $1 a pound. We saw the sale price go up $2 a pound from what it was last time. So we have to pay attention to these things. As far as major shortages at Meijer, what I saw the other day was pretty much normal. I don't go over a lot of the stuff, but it's a lot less than it used to be. Meijer doesn't carry as much hamburger and steaks as they used to. Now, they don't carry as much anything anymore. They don't carry as much chicken. They don't carry as much pork. I mean, they have a good amount, though. Okay, they have a good amount, but it's not like what it was. So what does that tell me? People aren't buying. People aren't buying. And when you add people aren't buying mixed with a shortage, we know there's going to be a shortage of pork coming. We know the prices are going up. The prices are higher now on pork than they've ever been. And if you're seeing the same regular price, chances are next time you go to the store, the sale price is going to be way higher than you're used to paying. If you see a rack of ribs for $5.99 a pound, it's going to be on sale for $3.49 to $3.99 a pound. As to where last month it was $2.99 a pound. But because of everything that's going on with Tyson, some other plants, transportation, the shortages, it's everything. Everything is tying together now that is causing these prices to go up. I was shocked today on the radio. I heard two different interviews with people sounding like politicians. I don't know. I was driving, and I heard a couple people that were talking about the prices of food in the store and comparing it with inflation. Now, most of us know that the inflation numbers shouldn't have anything to do with food. But I've been saying this for a long time. It absolutely does. It absolutely does. If things go up here, they're going to go up here. We've been talking about the shortages of, like the export bans on rice and stuff like that in India. Now we're seeing it some other places. We're even talking about getting all of our beef shipped here. What's that about? Guys, I don't know. I don't know anymore. We read these things. I try to do as much research as possible. Some of this stuff, and I'm telling you right now, it's just as much as if you were to read it yourself. Some of this could be true. Some of it may not. All of it may be true. All of it may not. It's that eggs are good for you one day, eggs are terrible for you the next day type scenario. But the thing is that the knowing of this information is the knowing that we need to be prepared. Now, I read a story about El Nino this morning, and this could be, I feel like the weatherman is really getting a kick out of all this, right? Because it could be really bad or it could be really good. I feel like that is the same saying every year, whether we have El Nino or not. Now, it could affect different storms more heavily, but in the same paragraph, they're talking about, well, it usually will, for this one, it would mostly affect the southern states, and it's usually warmer there to where they wouldn't get snow anyway. Is it going to affect the northern states? I don't know, and apparently they don't really either. So the weather is, as it always has been, very unknowing. Forces of nature out of our control. But I will say this, and I'll say this every winter as we go into winter and we go into the cold seasons. Here in Cincinnati, you really don't know what the weather's going to be. It could be 0 degrees Fahrenheit one day, and it could be snowing like crazy. It could be ice. It could be anything. It could be 60 degrees in December. You just never know. You just never know. But the one thing is knowing that you can know how to prepare a little bit on the things that you know you need to have, like a month's worth of extra food, like we always talk about. We've had some power outages here because of ice storms before. It could take days for them to get the power back up. It's good to have a nice selection of different foods, some canned goods, maybe some of your own canned items to stock up on to make sure you're ready for winter. And the whole focus of a lot of this stuff is making sure you're being prepared. Now, I don't know if it's going to all hit the fan here, but I like to prepare like it will. Pray for the best, hope for the best, and plan for the worst. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. And if you stick by that rule, then you shouldn't fear anything. You shouldn't worry about anything because you know that you have everything you need to have. Pay attention to where your warm clothes are. Make sure you've got an emergency kit for certain kinds of situations. Somebody was talking about liquid bandage the other day, and I've gone over this before. See that? I don't know if you can really see that right there, but I gashed my hand open when I was younger. Can't really. There's like a line there, right here. I gashed my hand open when I was cleaning out like a crystal glass, right? Have you ever had one of those pop in your hand before? Piece of glass went right into my hand. Sorry if you're a little squeamish. And I pulled the glass out, and I was like, dang, and I just remembered from, just growing up. I had the super glue. Put it together, used some alcohol, cleaned it out real good, made sure it was clean, held it together, had super glue on there, that thing. You can barely even tell it's there. Now, that was just me. I don't recommend, if you had a cut, I probably could have used some stitches on that. But didn't need them. I was able to fix it, and if there's 2 or 3 feet of snow outside, how are you going to drive to the doctor? How are you going to drive to the hospital? I don't know. These old things come to my mind when I think about preparing for winter and stuff like this because we've been through it all here. Okay. One of our viewers from Florida the other day was talking about preparation. I'll tell you what, when anybody from Florida talks about preparing, making sure that you're ready, I listen to people from Florida. Absolutely. Because they know how to prepare. They live throughout some of the worst storms on the planet constantly. Imagine being in a tornado for hours and hours and hours and hours and it not leaving. That's Florida. They know how to prepare. They do, and they are ready for just about anything. Or look at a lot of places in Canada where it is completely iced over and frozen for, 3 or 4 months out of the year. And maybe more, you know. So for the bad weather, people who know bad weather already, I'm probably sounding like a broken record here to you, but at the same time, we like to go over these things so that we're ready. So that if it all does hit the fan in any kind of scenario, storm or whatever's going on over here with all the stuff with the militaries and all that, which is, I don't know, guys. My thoughts and prayers are with all the families. I have family and friends in the military. And as to where I won't go over what's going on, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It really doesn't. And, we just have to be, I don't know, we just have to be careful with everything that we do these days. There's a lot of people out there with itchy, things. They don't, a lot of people don't like us. I don't know, it is what it is. But, either way, we just need to make sure that we are keeping all of our soldiers in our thoughts and prayers with everything going on, and hopefully it doesn't hit the fan in that direction. But, okay, so a couple more shortages that I wanted to go over here. One, for whatever reason, is cornstarch. We continue to get comments on cornstarch. I am finding it, but it is less than it's ever been. A lot of these things that we talk about today are way less than what it's been from a couple years ago. And it's funny, every kind of article that I read always talks about from 2021. Guys, this was going on way before 2021. Yet that seems to be the marker of what everybody has on record. I don't know if it was because 2020, everybody was just concerned with, what was going on. But yeah, I mean, I've said since that day, right? Since that initial day, and way before this, when we were all locked in our homes, when we were all staying home all the time, I was like, and I had thanked the good Lord that a couple years, me and Jessica have always been the type of people. When we find the deals on things, we stock up on them. And I'll tell you what, that really helped back in 2020. And it made me realize it even more today, right? Today, we are prepared. And the thing is, anything ever happens, you may not be prepared. No matter how prepared you are, you may not be ready for what is coming your way. But you know what? At the same time, we can solve the little puzzle, fill in the gaps of the things that we know that we may need in the future. Because the way I look at it is, if I spend less money on a sale to get it now, well, that's less money on the things that I'm going to need it for in the future. So, and I understand, and I say this all the time, I know that a lot of people, most people, are in a very tight budget right now, especially because food prices are ridiculously high. And I'll give you a little bit of a preview of what video is coming out for tomorrow so you can check that out. I visit Ollie's Bargain Outlet tomorrow morning. I'm not going to go over what I found because that's part of the surprise of the videos. Make sure you're subscribed down below if you're new to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell notification and click all. That way all of our videos are notified to you right away. But all of our morning videos always come out at 8:30 in the morning Eastern time. So if you don't see it on your feed, you can go to our channel at 8:30 every morning. We have a video for you, whether that's a coffee rant or a store video. We're always doing something every morning to try and help save you money. I can guarantee you that. And it's harder and harder to do these days, guys. It really is. I know, got a few comments on salt again and sugar. Sugar is one that we continue to see go up in price. Okay, we saw Walmart, where they raised their 10-pound bags of sugar to $7.68. We saw Meijer, where they just raised theirs from last week from $7.29 to $7.69. So only a penny higher than Walmart, but you better believe we're going to see all of these store brands get up to right around that price. And believe me, all of these stores are watching each other, right? They're going to make sure, whatever it is, they're going to keep it right at that price because they know people are paying attention. We're going to make sure that you're paying attention to all these things. That's why we go to the stores every day, almost every day, so that we can try and find the best deals. Excuse me. It's getting to the point now where we're paying attention to the regular prices like we always do. I always say watch the regular prices because when the regular prices go up after that sale, that's what you're going to be paying. So that gives you the incentive to buy more when you see it on sale. Okay? But look at the way the sale prices are like straggling the regular prices now. Okay, we're seeing people are saying, "Oh, the prices aren't going up." Right? And that was another thing on the news today. They were saying, well, these grocery prices haven't gone up. They've stayed here for a while. Look at the sales that we're not seeing on these products anymore. That's why I say you have to keep all eyes open. You have to keep both eyes open. Don't be fooled by the trickery going on in the stores. Okay? They put a sale price on it. That triggers the eye. Okay? You're looking at that sale price. You're not really thinking, or most, I don't really know. These days, maybe if you've been watching the channel for a long time, we have probably trained together in finding where these things are and when to and when not to buy. Okay? That's why we're talking about buying up the sales as you see them. That way when they try to pull a fast one, when it's up $1.50 more on a sale price, the deal price, than it was before, then you know that, okay, well, don't buy. And then if enough people do that, then they'll lower the price the next time. Maybe. We've seen this happen before, but it seems like it's far and few between these days. Somebody left a comment the other day, I thought it was pretty interesting, is that if everybody would just not shop at the store for a couple days a week, if we didn't shop at these stores like, say, Wednesday and Thursday, that they would be forced to drive prices down. I think it works with gas a lot better than it does groceries. I don't think that I think as massive as our country is right now and the population around the world, I don't know if it would work or not. For one, it would take an awful lot to get out there for people to just stay at home and not go to the grocery store. Some people's budgets don't afford them don't let them, they're not able to do that. Okay. But you can always go, I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. I started thinking about that for a little while. It could work. I don't know. If it helps drive the prices down, that would be awesome. I don't know if I'm the right person to say, well, don't shop on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You want to shop on Fridays at Kroger, that's the incentive because you're coming in to get the gas points. They get you right there. They know that if you're getting this and you're getting this and you're getting this and you're getting this, then they're going to be able to get you to come in on those days. Maybe those are the days that we shouldn't go. I don't know. It's something to think about in the future. If things start getting even more out of hand than they already are, we may be forced to. And that is when it becomes a problem. Right? I mean, if prices get to that, to where we can't afford to eat, issues will arise and there will be trouble. And that, my friends, is when it will all hit the fan, and we need to be careful of that. We need to make sure that we're looking after our neighbors. We're looking after our friends, our family. We need to make sure that we're looking beyond ourselves. Now, I know, again, remember that I know some people can't afford to do that. But if you can, it's a good idea. Even if you can't afford it, it's a good idea to keep tabs on your family. Know where they are, know where your friends are, know where your family is, your neighbors. Because if it all ever does hit the fan, community works better than a single person. Right? I mean, that's how it is. Why I always say, like, if you're planning and you're buying stuff up for the future, if you're preparing, if you're buying a lot of the cheap stuff, like, and maybe not as cheap anymore, but if you're stocking up a lot of rice and dry beans and things that are good fillers, these are things that you can share. You may not like rice or dry beans or coffee, but your neighbors do, and they will be forever grateful. Guys, I'll tell you, it is the whirlwind of events that we have seen here in the year of 2023, and I do not expect it to get any lighter here into winter. We're seeing things happen. We're seeing shortages pop up in the north, west, south. I mean, it's one thing after another. I didn't have too many. The ones that we talked about today are some major shortages that are all around the country right now. Sugar has been an issue for a while. Beef, chicken, these things are starting to get more and more in short supply. I say that because we're seeing things, and look at some of the produce too. If you didn't see our Meyer video that came out yesterday, go back and check that out. Look at the onions. Okay, and I know it's silly, okay, but go back, look at the onions. They have cut off an entire section. What does that tell you? They're not getting them, right? They used to have a whole buffet of onions. One whole huge section of onions. They have cut off a third. And we're seeing that happen at Walmart a lot too. Remember when Walmart used to have sections of things and now they just bring in like the plastic milk carton totes or just leave the boxes out there? Remember when those were actual aisles? Now we're seeing that at other stores. Look at Kroger. Every Kroger I've gone to has cut out. I don't know what it is, but they all want that middle section of the bananas cut out. Why is that? Major shortages of bananas. We've been talking about that for a long time. You guys have been talking about that for a long time. Bananas, for whatever reason, are in short supply. Now, there's been weather conditions, things like this, transportation, all these other things, but they know they're not going to get them. They're not going to get them for a while. They've set up shop with other things, different melons and stuff that they were keeping in like tomato boxes. Kind of looks funny, but now they're putting them there in the middle, in between the different bananas, in between the conventional and the organic. And we're seeing prices go up on bananas too. Not at Kroger, not yet. But we saw them over the last year. We saw them double at Aldi for those Fife's bananas. I don't know, guys. I'm just wanted to do this coffee rant tonight with you guys to catch up with everything. Let's take another sip here. I knew I needed a little something strong tonight. I need to make sure that we were getting the message across clearly. Duncan is helping me with that tonight. Pay attention to everything, guys. Make sure you're stocking up on your batteries for your lights, your flashlights. Winter is coming, and it may come harder this year. Maybe due to El Nino, maybe due to events going overseas. We don't know yet. Make sure you're paying attention. Make sure you're paying attention to your surroundings. There's been a lot of different alerts and things going around the country and stuff like that. Different things that we keep your head on a swivel, as some of our viewers say, and I completely agree with you. Make sure you're watching everything. I don't know if I mentioned this the other day. I was walking out past in a parking lot, heading back to my car, walking, and this lady about ran me over. I don't think I mentioned this. And I knocked on her car as she was backing out. I just knocked like, hey, wasn't even paying attention. She about ran me over. Now, she was very apologetic. She started to get out of her car. She was crying and everything. And I was like, oh, it's okay. Just pay attention. Really nice lady. I don't know why I would feel bad, but I mean, it's, we talked for a second and everything. And anyway, it was a calming situation. Could have been much worse. I could have been ran over, but no, it was fine. But my point is pay attention. Pay attention to everything when you're walking in a parking lot. If you see a car running, and I didn't see. I didn't even know anybody was in the car. I just saw it start backing up. I don't know if I don't think her reverse taillights were working, because I usually look for those things. But I'm with my groceries and everything and not 100% paying attention. You shouldn't have to, but you need to. If that helps someone, make sure that you're watching everyone around you, everything going on, because anything can happen. Anything can happen, and you don't want something like that to happen to you. But guys, I'll tell you what, just be prepared. Make sure you're stocking up on the things that you need to stock up on. Toilet paper is becoming an issue, I guess. We're getting tons of comments on toilet paper again. I'll tell you what, I guess things happen and things are different, and it's just weird sometimes. But it's like, some of these places, it's like, where's the new toilet paper companies, right? They keep screwing up. It's not like this hasn't happened once, and it wasn't just during the whole pandemic and all that stuff. It's happened like every 6 months. We're seeing toilet paper just disappear, and it comes back arguably faster than it did during everything else. But we saw where it's wiped out at Aldi the other day. Getting multiple comments from you guys that it's been wiped out at Aldi. It just now started affecting us. Make sure you let us know down in the comments if you notice price increases. A couple of them I know here. The big packs of the Willow was $18.99. I'm expecting those to go back up. But what I'm curious about is, are they staying the same price and less in the bag? Or are they going up in price and the same amount? Or less in the bag. I mean, we could be getting the double whammy here. I know that the ones they had on sale, the 18 mega rolls, which mega can mean anything. So see if those come back smaller sized, or maybe they're cutting off an inch like they did off of the Cottonelle and the Quilted Northern. I don't know. I don't know, it's disappearing for some reason, and it's disappearing in a lot of different stores. That usually means something. Either one, prices are going up, or two, they're doing something with it. I don't know what happened with Quilted Northern. Please let me know down in the comments if it has shrunk in size anymore. But we were getting comments, excuse me, we were getting comments all over the country that Quilted Northern had disappeared. We even saw, I was showing everybody at Kroger and other stores where Quilted Northern was gone. Well, now it's come back. We see new advertising on it. It looks like the same size, but I don't know if it's the same square footage. I can only cover so much, guys. I'll tell you, it's really hard to cover everything. And we notice that there's an incredible deal at Kroger going on Quilted Northern. The packs that are normally $7.99, which they haven't raised the price. $7.99 is what the 6-pack of the Mega Rolls has been for over a year. Now it's $4.99 on a digital coupon. When it goes back up to $7.99, taking your thoughts off of the square footage. If you can remember what the square footage was, or if you have an old pack of Quilted Northern, please let me know down in the comments. Let's work together on these things. So again, when it comes to price increases, we have to look at the other things too. We have to look at shrinkflation. Now, we've been talking about shrinkflation over the last week or so a lot. Okay, we've been talking about shrinkflation for years now, but I know some people are saying, well, it's been going on forever. We've been talking about it forever. It's just kind of coming back into conversation because we're seeing more products shrink in size. Oh, I'll tell you, I know we're at 30 minutes here, guys. I know I need to wrap it up here. I could go on for another 30 minutes, but we will talk more about this in our next coffee rant. Guys, make sure you're stocking up. Make sure you're prepping. Make sure you are getting the items you need. Again, anything that you can think of for winter. If you're in a cold climate, even if you're not in a cold climate, stock up on some warm clothes because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Always good to be prepared in any kind of situation. You never know if you may have to get out of Dodge. Out from where you are. If you got to go, you may have to go into a colder climate. Make sure you have warm clothes. Our families down in Florida, they have very warm clothes. They never use them unless they have to. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.